Hi everyone. I get a lot of questions about the high value sheet and data sheet. So I thought I'll tackle some of those questions today. The first question I get is, why did the company introduce the high value sheet and the data sheet? There are two types of people in the world. Those who take control of their own life and create the life they want, and those who live in life without taking control, and they just complain that the life is not what they want. I mean, I've met hundreds and thousands of people, over my life. I'm 40 years old now, and I've met people who are 75 years old. And you really start thinking about what did they do in their life? What did they accomplish? Nothing much. But obviously, when you start talking to them, they'll tell you everything that's wrong with the way the world is. The roads suck, and this suck, and that suck. And, they'll just talk about why the world sucks, and it's everybody else's fault. Unfortunately, the world is made up of people like that. 90+% of people are like that, unfortunately. So the company that I created, I really believed something right from day one. And obviously, the more we have been doing this, the more I have become passionate about my beliefs. And that belief is that nobody should work a minute more than 8 hours. However, people should be more successful with the company as the time goes along. What does it mean? It fundamentally means that you're working the same 8 hours, but the way you used your 8 hours 6 months ago versus today is very different. So the exact same 8 hours is now producing more impact, more results than the exact same 8 hours 6 months ago. So fundamentally, I believe that people have to work smart, not hard. And fundamentally, I believe that life comes first. So, which is why I'm a stickler on, nobody should work more than 8 hours. And let's talk about the second group of people, right? The people who make up the 95% of the population and who get up and, live in life and life sucks for them, and then they complain that life sucks. They have every reason under the sun to justify why they cannot take control, why they cannot start shaping life itself. They'll say, oh, the other person had money. Oh, the other person knew somebody who got them a job. Oh, the other person went to university and my parents didn't send me to university. They have 100 reasons to justify and explain why their life continues to suck. The 5% or the 1% of people who don't live in life but rather take control of their life and who do great things. I mean, I'll give you an example. Steve Jobs, Mahatma Gandhi, right? They don't do that. You never hear Steve Jobs or Mahatma Gandhi complaining about how everything else sucks and it's not their fault. You will never hear these people pass the buck or point the finger and say, oh, everything sucks, but it's not my fault. And I'll give you two examples from our own place here, right? If we are doing our jobs and if we are getting better at our jobs, our business should be growing. What I mean by that is, this recording is aimed at CCs. So each client coordinator and each manager is given a set of clients. Your goal is to keep the clients happy, and so they stay with us. Obviously, if some clients we can never make them happy, cut them loose so you can focus your energies on the ones we should focus on. And then when you do a good job for your clients, some of them will upgrade and others will tell their friends. They have a huge incentive to tell their friends, because for every friend they refer, they get $1,200 off, right? $50 times 24 months, $1,200 off. So your job is to grow the amount of business based on your current set of clients by increasing referrals, by increasing upgrades and managing or reducing people leaving. That's it, right? Your job is to use your 8 hours wisely to make it happen. If you look at many people's trackers, you will notice that they're in a negative territory, meaning after you add all their referrals, all their upgrades, and all the people who left, it's negative. It's not positive. That means they're working hard, and many of them probably work more than 8 hours, but things are getting worse. Why is that? I would argue it's because they don't think about how they can grow. They don't think about how they can make tomorrow better than yesterday. The other ones typically who will tell every reason under the sun as to why they can't change and why the world sucks and it's not their fault. And I'll give you 3 other examples that are very different. Susan, right? If you look at Susan and her team, in all of last year, they got 30 new clients. This year, by July, they had already gotten 30 new clients. So pretty much, if you were to do the math, they're 70% better off. I'm not saying 7%, 70% better off this year than they were last year. The team size stayed exactly the same. Actually, the amount of hours people work probably went down, but results are 70% better. Think about success, right? If you really think about it, if you talk about Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, what is success? Success is compounding, right? So if Bill Gates succeeds 20% this year, and next year he succeeds 20% on top of that, and you do that for 30 years, you start from a college dropout all the way to the person who's the largest philanthropist in the world by the time he's 50. So when you reflect and when you think and when you grow, you will keep compounding the growth. I'll give you another example. Anita, who's in our team, who actually was the manager of the CC team. With the exact same team, she's producing 4 times the results today than she did 2 to 3 months ago. Exact same team. She's not working 1 minute more than 8 hours. So how is that possible? I mean, how are exact same people, who are even some of you before, able to do so much more without working hard and without killing themselves, while some people work harder and harder, but things are definitely not growing exponentially, and definitely not like Susan or Anita, but in most cases, things are getting worse. And I would argue that the secret to the success of somebody like Anita, for example, is she takes 6% of her time and she thinks about how she can make the rest of her 8 hours better. Think about it, right? I ask people to spend no more than 30 minutes on the daily sheets and the high value sheets, right? So when you divide 30 minutes by 8 hours, that's 1 out of 16. If you do the math, that works out to approximately 8% of your day. 8%. Sorry, 6%. 1 out of, 6% of your day. So I'm just saying, spend 6% of your time thinking about how you can grow. That's it, right? So why did we create this? Because I want a company where people continue to prosper more and more and more while not working more than 8 hours. The only way to do that is you have to take 6% of your time and focus that inwards on reflecting on what you're doing and how you can do it better. So Anita didn't invent an extra, 8 times 4, 32 hours. I mean, nobody knows how to invent 32 hours in a day and work 32 hours in a day. She still only works 8 hours. But what she invented was, she invented her muscle, or what she grew was her muscle to reflect and look at what's working, what's not, and so she can continue to make decisions and do things that makes her and her team more effective. So the same 8 hours, they just stop doing the things that's not as important and start doing the things that is important. Also, they realize the power of time slots. What I mean by that is, I'll give you an example, right? I used to be a person who sits in front of my emails, okay, all day long, and email comes into my inbox. Some are good emails, some are bad. Sometimes the good emails, I get so excited, I copy it to 25 people and I send something out. Bad email, I get so mad. I copy it to 25 people and say something nasty. So I was sitting here like an idiot for a whole day, doing things that didn't really mean much. Then, I have a great EA, Tilini, and before that Zulaifa. Now I spend 30 minutes, maximum 1 hour a day, kind of going through all my email once a day because it's in a tracker and telling my EA what to do and how to handle it. That's it. So now I freed up. So in other words, the thing that I was doing for 8 hours a day and really driving my pressure up and driving the other people's pressure up, now I do it in 30 minutes, right? And actually I do a better job because I do this in the morning. My mind is clear. I think clearly. I'm not tired. I'm not frustrated. So now what did that allow me to do? That allowed me to start creating other time slots where I'm extremely good at certain things. I'm extremely good at selling. So marketing team sets up a few meetings for me every week where I attend meetings and I talk to potential clients and talk about who we are and help them see how we can help them, right? So the idea is that sometimes you can do more with 30 minutes than you can do with 8 hours. So one of the key lessons of this whole high value sheet is start thinking about how you're going to organize your day, how you're going to be organizing your week. So for example, if you have to check on articles, don't do it all day long. Do it for 10 minutes. Maybe you have to do, I don't know the particular activity, maybe once a day for 15 minutes. Just go through all the articles, make sure everything is in line. That's it. You're done. Finished. When you have problems, don't bug your manager 3 times a day and now she's running with like a chicken with the head cut off. You are running like a chicken with the head cut off. People don't die if you don't handle something within 2 minutes. So have schedule it in. Even your stress time of, don't be like the way I used to be, checking your email, all the time and getting upset and making somebody else upset and jumping up and down and being like an emotional wreck. Have time slots. Yes, you may have to check your email twice a day. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but do it in that particular time slots, right? So the 8 hours you have now magically becomes equal to almost 20 hours because you are really focused in those 30 minutes, in those 15 minutes. So really think every week about how you can allocate your day. And Nadi, for example, she, recently took on an interesting role. She even has alarms set up. So, automatically remind her 30 minutes is done. So I need to focus on the next thing. She completely shut down what she was doing. Now she's focused on the other thing. Email, she doesn't check it. I don't check it because only check it during that time slot, right? So think about it. Start giving every reason why you can't spend 6% of your day to think about how you are doing things with yourself, with your manager, and improving it. And start putting 6% to make your life better, 6% to improve yourself, improve your team. So don't be like the other people who say, oh, my life sucks, the total impact that I'm having is going down and it's negative, but I'm killing myself. And start being, I'm not killing myself, I'm only working 8 hours, but because I'm spending 6% of my day, 30 minutes of my day, thinking, reflecting, and so forth, I'm growing. So one of the questions I got was, are you doing this to watch if you're working 8 hours? No, that's not the point. Anita is doing it not to impress me, but for her to think. I mean, she didn't grow 400% because of me. I had nothing to do with this. She grew because she looked at what was going on and she started asking questions. Why are we doing this? Is it important? Can we do it better? Is there a better way? Right? And she started doing that with her people. So when 3 people start doing this every day, spending 6% of their time, and they even grow, let's say, 2% a day, 1% a day, the power of compounding is 3 months later, they're double, triple, having the impact with the same 8 hours. So don't come up with one more reasons why it works for Anita and it doesn't go and work for you and all of that stuff, and start living it. Start creating time slots. Start being disciplined to only do those things in those time slots. Don't do it to impress me. Don't do it to impress Anne. Don't do it to impress anybody else. Do it for yourself. Because remember, our vision is a company where people don't work a minute more than 8 hours, but the impact they have keeps growing. So their compensation, their roles, their promotions, everything keeps growing. That's what I want. So unlike other people who will keep telling their employees, work harder, work 16 hours, work 20 hours. I'm not sure if you saw that recent article about Amazon.com and how, people are expected to work 85 hours a week. I mean, that's not what I believe in. That's not the company I want. I want a company where people work not a minute more than 8 hours, but they spend 6% of that 8 hours to think, to reflect, to look themselves in the mirror and start asking questions, and then do it with their managers, do it with their team members, and everybody's asking questions, everybody's thinking, talking, and then the managers and so forth are making decisions. We have stopped doing the things that's not working and start doing the things that work. We all get better at discipline, right? I accomplished so much in my 8 hours because it's all slotted. Look at my calendar. This is partnership time. This is, sales time. This is working with my team time. When I'm focused on that activity with that goal. When I'm working with my team, my goal is to how to help them embrace the high value and grow and continue to grow. That's all I do. And some meetings I get into and I'm like floored because compared to last week, they're like 20% better off than they were last week. Same 8 hours, same 3 people. Obviously, I'm not expecting everybody to grow 20% every week. I know that's not reasonable, but grow something. Grow 1%, grow 2%. So we have established we are not doing this to check if people are working 8 hours. We have established why we are doing it, because we want a company where nobody kills themselves. People don't work hard, they work smart. They work no more than 8 hours, but they have more and more impact. Another question I got is, the work we currently do is also high value. Otherwise, why are we doing it? So in top of the work, what's the point of doing the sheet? Exactly, awesome question. The work you're doing is high value. So if you're checking on the articles, create a small time slot for that, 15 minutes. I check on the articles and schedule it in your high value sheet. If you're checking on an AP and you do it for 30 minutes a day or twice a week for 1 hour, whatever it is, schedule it in. Everything you do is high value, but schedule it in and only do it in that time. And when you are doing it, totally be focused, be present, have a room that you can close, not get distracted, turn off your cell phone, just be there and totally focus on it. And then once a day, spend that 30 minutes, planning for the next day so you can make sure that your high value aligns with your daily plan. And then be reflecting on your daily plan at the end of the day, reflecting on it. Hey, this is what I did. Yes, here I did amazingly well. This is how I would like to change it. Here I can do as well. Maybe I don't need to do it anymore, or I can change it, right? Look at that as a mirror that teaches you to get better with your time. Remember, God gives everybody the same time. He doesn't give Bill Gates more time than he gave you or me, right? And God makes everything equal. It's just some people know how to use their time and reflect on how they do things, so they continue to grow. And there are other people, unfortunately, the 95%, they'll complain and tell reasons why they can't grow and blame everybody else. Don't be that 95%. Be that 1%, be that 5% who takes control of your own life. And the secret is dedicate 6% of your day, half an hour a day, to reflecting, to thinking. Don't do that sheet to impress me. Don't do that sheet to impress everybody else. Do it as a mirror to talk to yourself, to teach yourself how you can grow, how you can improve. Okay. Another question I got is, CC said doing more than 8 hours. We check mail on holidays as well due to client requirements. We cannot tell them about holidays here. CC check emails on Saturday mornings. Also attend to anything urgent. So sticking to 8 hours can never happen if that's the goal of the sheet. Trust me, if you told Steve Jobs, you know what, the entire world will not use his iPhones and 1 billion people will use it, he will laugh in your face. And you'll be thinking, is this guy on drugs? I mean, not one person is using the iPhone, but he believes that 1 billion people will use it and they will pay $600 for a phone that they can get somewhere else for $100. Everybody will say, you guys are nuts. So don't stop giving reasons as why something cannot be done. The people who succeed in life are the people who don't take no for an answer, who don't find every excuse under the sun to justify why their life needs to continue to suck. Okay, so don't take that as an answer. I'll give you some creative ideas. This is why I insist on you talking to your managers every day. Okay, Sri Lankan holidays. Create shifts. So if there are 5 people in your team, say, okay, on this particular holiday, I'll take care of all the emails and alert people if I need to. And then the next one, somebody else does. So maybe there are 10 days where the holidays don't match, or whatever number of days. So you guys can figure it out. Yeah, some days you work extra, but then reduce it from the other days. I mean, use your brains, talk to your managers, find solutions. Don't sit here and justify why life needs to continue to suck just because it has sucked in the past. Okay, you're checking emails on Saturdays. Again, if you really have to do it, time box it, put certain limit on it, reduce your time from the other days. Use your brains, talk to your managers, start living it. Don't sit here and justify why we need to do things the same dumb way we have been doing it in the past. So another question I get asked, most of the time we solve issues even via chats on top of daily meetings, so we cannot add all of these on daily sheets. Why are you doing that? Why are you, like me, sitting in front of a computer waiting for problems and then bugging somebody else immediately about that problem? Nobody's going to die. If you have a daily meeting with your manager, discuss all those during the daily meeting. So you are more productive, he's more productive, you are more calm because that was scheduled for problem solving with your manager and reflecting and so forth. You guys can handle all of that stuff. So again, the power of time slots. Don't let the events and what's happening around dictate how your 8 hours get spent. You plan it, you schedule it. You use that appropriate time in the daily time slot for that time bucket. So don't do this for me. Don't do this to impress me or because I'm asking for it. Do it for yourself. Just think, if you can spend 6% of your day, half an hour a day, trying to improve yourself by reflecting and growing, there's no reason why you can't grow like Anita did or Susan did, many of our other teams did. You can. There's no reason you have to come into, update a monthly 2015 goals tracker where we look at the total impact, negative. People are working harder, but things are getting worse. Make decisions, make calls, do things. And if you do that every day, if you make today count slightly better than yesterday because you are thinking for half an hour of your day, trust me, you will start seeing a mountain of improvement in 2 weeks, in 2 months, in even a week. I have seen it. I have gone into meetings with people week after week, and some people every week, they keep getting better. Every week they keep getting better. Some weeks it's 2%, some weeks it's 20%. But the point is, by reflecting and by thinking and by asking questions, they continue to get better. These people don't give reasons as to why the world can't be different and why the world has to suck. They find ways to use that half an hour to reflect and grow. So if you have any further questions, I would love to answer it. Embrace it. Don't be that 95% who works hard and kills themselves and still see results go down. Be the 5% who works smart, not more than 8 hours, and see the results go up because they're dedicating 6% of their day, half an hour a day, to think, to reflect, to question, to talk to their managers, make decisions, change, evolve, and then track how things are going. Be the change you want to see in this world. That's what Gandhi said. So don't sit here and talk about this and that and why you can't change. Just only thing I'm trying to teach you is for you to think and use 6% of your day to grow yourself, to grow your team, to work less. That's all I'm trying to do. So I'm not your enemy. I'm trying to do something that everybody with common sense and brains will love, because my fundamental point is don't work more than 8 hours, which, a person wouldn't like that. But for you to do that, you need to develop your muscle to work smart, to reflect, to grow, to make decisions, to, look yourself in the mirror and ask the questions, how can I do things differently? So that's really my plea to you. That's really my argument to you. I mean, we are not a company for people who just show up and, just like, robots, just don't think, don't use their brain, just go round and round in circles and then keep saying the world continues to suck. We are not for them. We are for people who learn this ability. Trust me, nobody's born with this ability. They learn it. Steve Jobs didn't jump out of, sky, and somebody gave him all this ability to reflect and grow. He just figured it out. Every single person, they just figured it out because they realize hours in a day is fixed. So the only way they can have more and more impact is by learning how to use those hours better and better and better by reflecting. And think about this. If your team is in step 1 of a 100-step staircase, you can only reach so many places because you're at the bottom. But by reflecting and by growing, now you are at step 4 and your team is at step 3. Now you guys can do things that you couldn't do before. And then 2 months later, you're at step 9 and your team is at step 8. Now you guys can do things you couldn't do when you were in step number 4. So trust me, as you grow using this process, your capabilities, your strengths, your assets will keep growing. All the things we have, all of those things will keep growing. So success becomes easier and easier, and you can work smarter and smarter, right? So just take a leap of faith. Just do it. Just spend 6% of your day trying to improve yourself and your team. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And this is something I absolutely believe in every being of my body, because I have seen it work in my own life. I have seen it work in other people's life. Like I said, the same person having 300% more impact than they did a few months ago. So this is not some theory. This is not some just crazy idea. It's based on common sense. Spend some of your time trying to think and reflect and grow. That's it. Thank you very much. If you have any further questions, let me know. Telini?